She owns a condo.
Mhm.
She's got, just a regular Tesla, right? One of the newer Model 3s, the low model, right? Which are very inexpensive. That's why I think he's done so well. He's priced that car very well. And insurance and food and, a trip here and there. She's tight month to month. She's not, she doesn't, if she was to lose her job, it would be a big challenge for her to continue to pay her mortgage, to pay her expenses, her food or her insurance or whatever it is, right? Like that doesn't go far in California.
And I mean, I'm just thinking about healthcare and health insurance. I mean, you think it's X and then suddenly it's, $200 more a month, for one person. And that's very hard to budget for, even if you're super careful.
Before this company, I have a wife and 2 kids, Blue Cross Blue Shield, HMO. As being an independent contractor, I have to get my own. It cost me $2,400 a month for a family of 4 for health insurance.
That is crazy.
Insane. We fixed that, but it was but that's what I had to do during that period of time to make sure that we had health coverage.
Yeah, that is truly insane.
Isn't that insane? That's so much. It's so much money.
I don't have health insurance anymore because I did the math and I thought it's cheaper for me to just save up money in case my leg falls off.
We are so aligned there, but my wife, because all I had was my wife and 2 kids because I peace of mind for her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, happy wife, happy life. And that's a true saying. But she kept bothering me. I was like, all right, I'm going to get it. But I'm the same as you. I did the math and I'm fortunate enough to be pretty healthy and keep in shape. And I did the math. It was cheaper for me not to have health insurance either and just go visit and pay per visit. Or if I did have to go to the ER for something crazy, it was still cheaper than the annual cost.
No, it's true. Well, I don't want to get in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Conversation. My husband and I have our own set of, I think it's crazy, honey, but I'm just going to do it. Conversation again. So I hear you. But so that's what you mean by paper wealth versus tangible assets. Like people might think they're doing really well on paper, but we're still vulnerable. Is that what you mean? Or
yeah, think about it like this. Okay, so paper wealth versus tangible assets, right? 401k, is it really yours, right? Can you access the money if the institution was to go belly up, right? No, it's frozen. Like Lehman Brothers went out of business.
Right.
And then when they did, so did your entire retirement account.
Did that happen?
That happened in 2008. They closed Lehman Brothers.
No, I know, but people who had their IRAs couldn't get their money out?
It's gone. Yeah. If there's an insurance company going through some type of lawsuit, like an AIG, and their assets get frozen, those are your assets that get frozen. Like,
holy cow.
It's institutional control. Digital wealth, someone else's permission, like digital wealth, is that
right.
So central bank digital currency is central banks controlling this digital currency.
Right.
Is that really your wealth? These are paper or digital. I mean, everything's really digital, right? You look at I go on my bank statement online and it gives me the number, and we all love looking at that number. I got that. But if the bank was to put a freeze on your account, this has happened to me at Chase. For some reason, they said there was multiple social security numbers underneath my name, and they froze my business and personal account, and I couldn't get my money. And that was years and years ago, and that was the last time I ever kept my money in one bank.
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
I was actually able to call somebody and get the money freed up in one of the accounts, but then one of the managers came in and denied it. And so I had to borrow money from my employer at this time. This is back in like 2000, and I want to say like 2015 or 14, something like that. So that happens. Now, does this happen to everybody? No, but on a large scale throughout our country, it happens all the time. You hear these stories.
But it literally could. I mean, we know about the truckers in Canada. Since I last talked to you, people who happen to be Israeli or have Israeli linked business ties in Spain got their accounts switched off. And with central bank digital currency, nothing prevents us, at least technologically, from being switched on and off like people are in China, who are sleeping in the street because they have a low social credit score, right?
100%. That's paper wealth.
Yeah.
Tangible is physical assets, physical gold, silver, platinum. It's yours, right? Like, see, this is mine. It's real. It's
is that your gold? Can I see?
Gold. Yeah,
that's so cool.
I love it. Look at it. It's real, right? Silver.
That's beautiful.
Big 5-ounce piece of silver. It's mine. I got a bunch of these. Now I've got some that are much smaller. They're like the size of a dime in silver or in gold. And if things do happen, it's legal tenure. I can go and buy things with it. So that's control. Real estate, it's physical. It's yours, right? No one can come on your property. It's yours. But if you've got it financed and you don't pay it, they can take it, right? We were talking about Rolexes, right? It's mine. I've bought and paid for it. A car, I've bought and paid for it. It's mine. Right. Like, these are tangible. Fine art. We were talking about fine art that you can put inside of a self-directed retirement account. Like, it's mine. It's fine art and it's mine. And if what breaks loose, hopefully I can find somebody to purchase that. But what would they purchase it with? Who knows? But at least it's mine. I don't, but that's why at the end of the day, gold and silver and platinum, it's yours. It's tangible. It's money. It's real money. And so that's what's tangible. Gold, they're talking about like a gold revolution scenario.
Hey everyone, it's Naomi Wolf of Outspoken and Daily Clout, and I want to tell you about gold. Every major financial collapse has been preceded by the same 7 warning signs: before the Great Depression, before the 1970s stagflation, before the crash of 2008, and now all 7 are flashing red again for the first time in over 15 years. American Alternative Assets just released a free report called the Bellwether Signal. It breaks down each of these signals and shows you how to protect your retirement before the next wave hits. In times of uncertainty, gold has always been the ultimate safe haven. It held strong in 2008. It surged during the inflation crisis of the 70s, and it remains one of the few assets not tied to political manipulation or central bank policy. Find out why central banks are buying gold and precious metals in record amounts and how you can too. Call 855-803-GOLD or visit cloutgold.com. That's cloutgold.com to get your free copy of the Bellwether Signal. That's 855-803-GOLD or cloutgold.com. Learn the signs, protect your savings, make your move while you still can.
You heard the music. You know what time it is. It's time for an economic update with Dr. Kirk Elliott. Yay!
The crowd roars for the PhD. That doesn't happen every day.
It literally only happens here.
Well, we sure are thankful for you. The Flyover family is sure thankful for you. I know that if you walked in a room with Flyover family members, they would all be clapping and cheering. They are so thankful.
We were at
for the
this event with Julie Green in Dallas. I don't know how many people there was. Thousands and thousands of people there, though. And we had a booth there. We're doing interviews with testimonies, and it was high energy. It was just a regular flow of people coming up to us and being like, thank you for connecting us with Dr. Kirk Elliott. It has been so good. And people have these different stories of what they've done. And some have been with you 2, 3, 4 years and their processes. And if you were there with us, you would have been like, Elvis. You would have been the coolest PhD in the room. That's for sure.
For sure. No doubt about it.
I mean, you tend to be cool when when the recommendations you've made
Right.
have like doubled
Yes.
or more, right? And so it's like, but to me, it's like that's just part of the picture, right? When all of our clients here, my team, my consultant team, when Ashley and I are talking to our clients and we get to pray with them, that's like the icing on the cake for me. I mean, there was, and I had a really hard day a couple weeks ago. It's like, boom, 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 3 calls in a row. First one that was a widow. She had just lost her husband like literally 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
Second one, lost her husband the first week in October and her 31-year-old daughter in May.
Oh,
like,
no.
And then there was another one who she lost her husband, a few months ago. It's like, man. And you know what? They were so scared but yet resilient because they knew that Jesus was going to take care of them, right? So we got to pray with them. I mean, that was hard on me. I'm not gonna lie. It's like 3 in a row. And you know what though? Jesus is there. He's our comforter. Holy Spirit's there to comfort. And when my dad died, what was it 10, 11 years ago? My mom didn't know what to do because my dad handled everything, in the family finances, right? And so, but it's like, and here my mom was even scared, even though her son is a PhD in this stuff.
Right.
Right. It's like, but yet imagine if they're not. So this is where we try to come in and fill a hole that we can never fill. You can't replace a lost loved one. But what we can help to do is remove some of that financial stress.
Yep.
And know that they're not on the journey alone, that we'll hold their hand through this. I mean, so to me, that part of what we do is even more impactful to me than actually being in the right place at the right time.
Huge. For that person, it is like, wow, okay, I'm not alone walking through this journey, that there is somebody that's going to help me through this process. That's huge that you're there to be able to do that.
Oh my word, I bawled.
Oh, I would too.
I mean, I was crying that day. I had a meeting with my team. It's like I was just emotional, right?
Yeah.
Which I get emotional every single day because constantly talking to people who are think that they're at the end of their rope. They don't know what to do, and yet we can offer even a small financial solution and make a little bit of a dent in that, and encourage them. It's like Jesus is in charge. He hasn't left the throne, right? He's still there. He knows what's going on, and he'll take care of you, right? So, and we're going to need this. I think this kind of faith and comfort and wisdom. Like, there's what's the verse in 2 Chronicles? It's like, going through the lineage, and then there was the sons of Issachar, and they understood the times and knew what to do. Whenever God points out somebody and says more than just their name, it's like, okay, take note. He wants us to know something about them. Like, why would you go through this person begat this person begat this person, and then all of a sudden it's like this pause. It's like, but then they did something. It's like, okay, God wants us to do what they did, right? So this tribe, they understood the times and they knew what to do. Right. That takes wisdom, that discernment, that takes more than man's wisdom. Man's wisdom will put you in the wrong place every single time. God's wisdom will take you down the right path. And during that journey, you'll have peace and you'll have courage and you'll have hope and you'll have patience and you'll have all these things. So anyways, what do I think is coming? So I think one of the best analysts that I know is Jesse Colombo. He just did a post on X talking about the real estate market, and he got such vitriol hate from this message from realtors and everybody else. It's like, but look at this chart. So we all know what happened to the real estate bubble in like 2009, right? Mm-hmm. During that time frame, it crashed hard. Look at that chart. That was the first real estate bubble. Look at the second one, where we are today. The growth trajectory is almost the same. The top looks almost the same. What comes next? A fall. Right? So it's like, boy, what happens when real estate crumbles? Let's connect some dots here. A, they're going to have to lower interest rates to try to stimulate the real estate market. Okay. With what happens and Trump's been wanting to lower interest rates. This is for a completely different reason. So, lowering interest rates should stimulate the economy. When you have to lower interest rates like what we're talking about here, it's only to stimulate the housing market. That means interest rates are going to have to come down a lot. They're going to have a tendency to do that. When you haven't solved the inflation problem and you lower interest rates a lot, inflation goes through the ceiling. I mean, this is the bad thing. So unless you actually create jobs during this time, which means if more people are working, more people are spending. When more people are spending, they can support higher prices. And if there's more people working and wages going up to offset the inflationary pressures, it's like a zero-sum game. They just both go up together. That's economic growth. If we haven't solved the job mix yet, which Trump isn't going to do this quite right away, right? Because we're still dealing with the Biden's aftermath of his economy, and people aren't really back to work yet. They're not back to work. So if this real estate collapse happens like right now, it's stagflation. Fewer people working, higher prices. It's the worst of all possible scenarios. So let's just pray that this kind of can prolong itself and wait until Trump is able to get jobs back in America because of his policies. We've wiped away the aftermath of the Biden economy, which should take another 9 months to a year, probably. Technically speaking, that's how long policy initiatives take, 12 to 18 months to offset the previous policy, right? Mm-hmm. So Trump, just say he did all these things on day one. We're looking at about 18 months after that before we can see fruit on the tree from his policies, right? So there's an ugly, I think, real estate bubble coming. Now, we're talking about inflation that's going to come from this. Yes, you're going to have deflation in the pricing of houses, right? But lowering interest rates, they're going to print money, try to stimulate their way out of it. What is a mechanism that the Genius Act came up with to try to support a faltering U.S. dollar? Well, it's the issuance of stablecoins, right? So a stablecoin is on the blockchain, a cryptocurrency. It's outside of the banking system as we know it, right? Mm-hmm. So on the blockchain, if you have a token, it's the mechanism, like Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, Ethereum, right? It's these tokens that you're buying. Well, imagine having one that's backed by the US dollar. So that becomes the blockchain version of a money market, right? So you sell your Bitcoin, you sell your Ethereum. What do you do with the proceeds? You're not going to put it back into the bank.
Right.
People don't want to leave the blockchain once they're on it, right? They want to get out of that system. So you put it into a stable coin. 90% of the world's stable coins are backed by the US dollar. So in the Genius Act is where it becomes really peculiar, because Scott Bessent said, you know what? We're going to allow stable coins. We're going to allow the issuance of them. For every single stable coin that's purchased, the Treasury has to issue new Treasury bonds, right? So it's like, wow. So what is it right now? We're up to $309 billion in stable coins being issued already. By the year 2030, so 5 years from now, Secretary Bessent thinks we're going to be at $3 trillion.
Wow.
So if there's $3 trillion of these virtual dollars on the blockchain, you're buying $3 trillion of U.S. Treasury bonds. Okay. That they just print out of thin air, right? They just make them. So this is going to be actually, in my opinion, inflationary, right? It's a way to keep the dollar from collapsing, but it's also going to bring inflation with it. Now, I'm not concerned about that if you can create jobs in the meantime. Because again, More people working, more people spending, more people can afford higher prices. This is the difference between good inflation and bad inflation. Good inflation is prices going up because people are working and the economy can sustain higher prices. Bad inflation is like what we had during Biden. It's like nobody's working. They're printing their way out of everything. Prices are going up, but nobody can afford it because nobody's working. That's bad inflation.
It's a bad spiral down.
That's the result of stimulus money. So we are hoping and praying that Trump's policies don't encounter a ton of headwinds that say, no, we're not going to allow this. You know, oh, the Supreme Court's going to get involved. We're not going to allow this. Oh, we don't like you. It's like, we're not going to allow this, right? So Trump gets that every single decision he makes, right, is these headwinds. So hopefully he can be victorious and win. If not, we're just going to have an inflationary time, but it's not because his policies are bad. It's because the globalist agenda is against them so much. If they stop that progress, we will end up in an inflationary recession in America. Right? So we have to pray that he can actually win and be victorious and be the bulldog that he is and get some of these things passed. But all of this is pointing, the reason I wanted to bring these two together on this one show. Housing markets collapse. What are they going to do? Try to stimulate that, lower interest rates. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen with the issuance of stablecoin? They're going to print more bonds. That's inflationary. Both of these things are inflationary. And so what do you do? What do you do to protect yourself against inflation? Gold and silver, which is what our last show was all about. How we're expecting silver to just go up for technical reasons. If you haven't watched it, you should go back and watch that last show. For such a time as this, literally for such a time as this is why we're doing what we're doing. And boy, you can have peace when you put your head down on the pillow at night by allocating correctly.
Well, those are two big giant moves that could lead to inflation. And when you look at the economy, I'm hoping, you know, the jobs numbers in the last one from October, I think were better than expected. Doesn't mean great, but means better than expected, which helps if you expect them to be low. But they are jobs for Americans, and they're non-government jobs, and those are the two key, factors right there. It's like, hey, we get an extra job, a million jobs that the government's just artificially creating, DEI and HR and all this stuff. It's like, well, in government level positions, because the government bloated and swelled. Those aren't real jobs. That's artificially, created. So what he is getting is real jobs for people working here in America, and hopefully as many American-born workers as possible, so that actually we can feel the benefit within our own country. So hopefully that happens. But those are all things outside our control. We have AI replacing jobs at the same time. So it's like scooping water out of a boat that's got a leak, So how is that going to work? When you have uncertainty like that, that's why I feel the confidence of gold and silver, because that inflation is probably happening, and there's also massive uncertainty on the job front. Gold and silver is the best hedge, with that. And so I think it's as good of a position. Mm-hmm. While I think our country's better and headed a better position than ever was in the Biden era, some of the headwinds are the same, and the solution is the same.
Exactly right. Solutions have remained the same for a few years now, and of course it is, because the solutions are the opposite of what the government. So people go into gold and silver when they distrust the banks and they distrust the government. Mm-hmm. People have distrusted banks and the government for a long time, which means the solution is very similar, right? But now, not just as a flight for quality, we've got amazing growth because the world is running out. Man. Right? And it's like, this is fantastic. So take advantage of both of those trends, put a smile on your face, and call us if you need help.
It's very easy to do, Flyover family. You just go to flyovergold.com. There's a place you can fill out your information. You get a free book while you're there, but also set up a free consultation. Get all your questions answered. Find out what are the options for you and your family. Again, you just go to flyovergold.com, fill out your information, or you can call 720-605-3900 to set up that free consultation. Dr. Kirk, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Everyone is talking about this.
The one thing that's very important part part of my portfolio all these years is gold.
As gold hit all-time highs already this year.
And get a free info kit on gold today.
It's called silver.
Gold coin.
And though we are thrilled that everyone is talking about investing in precious metals, a lot of these 1-800 numbers will make you feel like just another transaction. That's why it's crucial to work with a person, not a faceless institution, when it comes to your finances. You deserve to be treated like family, not just another number. Dr. Kirk Elliott, who we've known for over 25 years, he doesn't just sell gold and silver. He offers trust, care, and a personal touch that an impersonal institution could never match. So when it comes to securing your financial future, don't just call a company, call a person. Call Dr. Kirk Elliott at 720-605-3900 or visit flyovergold.com to learn more.
I'm Linda Bamber Olson, the inventor of the Wave Watch, the world's first frequency therapy watch. It features over 1,100 targeted frequencies. These sounds are acoustical and they move through your body. You don't necessarily have to hear it. So that's why we have so many testimonies for ADD and ADHD, emotions, headaches, joints, and so many more.
What you doing there, Mom? Well, Wesley and I got all in the Christmas spirit after decorating, and we decided to make a naughty and nice list. And I have to say, Avery, you're doing quite well.
Really?
So we're trying to decide who all we're going to buy MyPillow stuff for Christmas. You know, if you use promo code FLYOVER, you get up to 66% off when you go to MyPillow.com.
That's a great deal.
Can't beat it.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Promo code FLYOVER.
Okay, Aaron Antis, guess who's joining us for the December 4th and 5th, 2025 Thrive Time Show Business Growth Workshop?
Whoa. Ooh, Santa Claus?
No, we will not be joined by Santa Claus, but we will be joined by Eric Trump, the son of the 45th and now 47th President of these United States. And yes, Amanda Grace will be in the place. And yes, Dr. Stella Manuel will be there, so you know it will go well. Yes, we have Mel K in the house. Pastor Phil and Tammy Hotson-Pillar will be hosting this event at their beautiful church right there in sunny Anaheim, California. Yes, folks, make this a December to remember.
He's fresh.
Make this a December to remember and join us at the 2-day interactive business growth workshops. For over 20 years, folks, I've been hosting business growth workshops where we're going to teach you marketing, sales systems, human resources, accounting, social media marketing, branding, sales training, search engine optimization, accounting, workflow development, financial management, all this and more. How do you get tickets? Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, how do you get tickets? Go to thrivetimeshow.com and request tickets today.
If you had a time machine and you could go back to, say, 1930 and you had 1 ounce of gold or a $20 bill, both of those would buy you a complete men's suit, brand new, the shirt, the tie, the belt. Either one would buy you the whole thing. If you had a time machine and then you brought both of those resources into today, 1 ounce of gold could still buy you a full suit at pretty much any men's store in America. The $20 bill, well, it probably only gets you a handkerchief or a pair of socks.
How do you get the gold and silver? Well, it's very simple. We have a friend that we've known for over 25 years. In fact, his dad was a mentor of ours, and his name is Dr. Kirk Elliott. And the way that you connect with him is you go to flyovergold.com. It's a website that we set up to make it very simple. All you do is go there, fill out your information, and someone from Dr. Kirk's team will get a hold of you to answer all of your questions. Whatever you have, they can help you out. Or you can simply call 720-605-3900. Again, 720-605-3900 to set up that free consultation. Do it today. You will be so glad that you did. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Flyover Conservatives podcast with David and Stacy Whited. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave us a comment below. Lastly, if you enjoyed today's podcast, share with those who came to mind. Be blessed and make it a great day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. So I got to tell you guys, the Twitterverse is exploding today, and it should be. It should be. It's crazy. Everywhere you look, people are talking about what's going on with the Trump administration, and there's a lot of divide over it, right? A lot of divide because so many of us have been so invested for so long and trying to, get President Trump in there, help him to be successful, to get MAGA, to see MAHA, to see the success of our movement. And so many of us are very, very disappointed. We've been disappointed by a lot of things that just aren't MAGA, right? When you look at what's happened with the Epstein list and the way that the public was lied to about it. I mean, when Kash Patel's out there telling us that there's no Epstein list, when Bondi's telling us there's a truckload of data, it's there, it's gone, it's there, it's gone, it's there, it's gone. It sounded like Fauci with masks. You need a mask, you don't need a mask, you need 3 masks, you need 4 masks, you need 1 mask. And the problem is that once you've been lied to, when do you trust a liar? And the credibility and the DOJ is gone with this administration. It's just gone. It's creating a disastrous situation. And when you combine that with the complete lack of anything that even comes close to the equal application of justice right now. It's appalling. No one's being prosecuted. None of the people who were behind J6 were prosecuted. When you look at this, think about this. By this time in the Joe Biden administration, hundreds of J6ers were in jail. This far into the President Trump administration, we know that J6 was a fraudulent Democrat setup by the crooked FBI and a bunch of other crooks, yet not one of the people who set that up are in jail, not one. The American public isn't happy. They're not okay with that. MAGA is not happy. We wanted justice and it's not happening. So there's a divide. There's the people who say, well, we can't say anything. Trump's got 5D chess. There's no 5D chess, first of all. That's nonsense. I'm not saying he doesn't have plans on certain things, but this isn't 5D chess. This is a debacle. But there's the people who are still holding on to that. People who think that seem to have a hard time with the fact that Trump is a human being just like everybody else. And he does things that are great. And he's an incredible president. But he also does make mistakes. What? Bill Barr, anybody? Mike Pence, anybody? So there's a real divide in MAGA right now, and it's causing a lot of problems. So we're going to get into that. We're going to look into it. My friend General Flynn called for Sidney Powell to be appointed AG, and I couldn't agree with him more. I don't think Sidney's looking for that job. But you know what? Sidney Powell is a great woman who stood up and did right things with this country. And you know what? I don't think she'd sell out. I don't think she'd be afraid to do things. I don't think she'd be afraid to prosecute. We have all you got to do is look at the fact that the left doesn't ever have any issue with Pam Bondi, but they had a huge issue with Matt Gaetz. That's all you got to look at. So, anyways, we're gonna get into all that. Campbell's Soup. Campbell's Soup is officially on my boycott list. They're bioengineered food products and genetically modified food products that are in their food make them something that I wouldn't even consider eating now. And it's even made worse when you see their executive out there saying that their food is SHIT and that it's for poor people. And no, he wouldn't eat that SHIT. Okay, sounds great. But why is it in our school lunches? Think about that one. He wouldn't eat it. The executive wouldn't eat it, but he doesn't mind selling it to the schools for our kids. It's disgusting, folks. It's disgusting. So lots of stuff to talk about. And we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to open up. We're going to talk about something that I actually like because I wanted to talk about something fun today. So I love animals. I don't know if you all know this, but I'm absurdly just a huge animal lover. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm fine with hunting and I'm fine with all that sort of stuff. But I love animals. Right. I like my dogs way better than I like most people. And there really aren't too many animals that I dislike. I like watching them. I like seeing them. So we got Thanksgiving coming up and we got all sorts of things coming up. And we got to keep our pets healthy and we got to keep our pets safe. So, as a public service announcement, we're going to talk a little bit about keeping our pets safe on Thanksgiving. And we got some of my friends from renspets.com are going to be coming on, and we're going to talk about some different things that are out there. They've got a wonderful, wonderful treatment that we use to keep can help your pets if they're suffering from cancer, from all sorts of things. It's just a wonderful thing. So we'll talk about that in a minute, and it should be a fun show. So before we get going, of course, I need to have a grifter. Grifter's got a grift. So we need your help and we need your support. So please go to givesendgo.com/Renslaw. Givesendgo.com/Renslaw. Please support us. Please back us. Give what you can. Give a lot, give a little, give whatever you can give. But please support us at givesendgo.com. Become a monthly subscriber, a monthly giver, whatever you can do. It really makes a big difference. It allows us to keep the news coming to you guys. It allows us to keep fighting the fight and doing the things that we do. So please, givesendgo.com/Renslaw. And then also head over to TimeRents.com, www.TimeRents.com, and check out our sponsors and affiliates. You gotta go to TimeRents.com. You can't just type TimeRents. Check out sponsors and affiliates, and then scroll down. And of course, always, every day, help us fight the war on testosterone, help us get more men. Men's hormone support from Global Healing. Men's hormone support, Global Healing. Love this stuff. You need to have it. You need to be on it. If you're women, you need to get your men on it. Men, you need to be on it. Men's hormone support, but also today, Block Trust IRA. We love Block Trust IRA. Wonderful product. Listen, crypto is what it is, but it's here to stay. It's becoming mainstream globally. The value is going to go up against the dollar. If you don't invest in it, you're going to lose out on it. If you're going to invest, you might as well do it with Block Trust. They're the best place to do it. They're a patriot company. They're good people. Don't be afraid of crypto. It's going to be here. There's nothing you can do about it. You might as well make your money off of it. So go to Block Trust IRA. Tell them Ren sent you, RENZ. Tell them I sent you, and use our link here. You can go to TimeRensCrypto.com, TimeRensCrypto.com, and get there directly. So last but not least, our friends who are coming on to help us with our pets today. We make sure you check out our new spot, renspets.com. I love pets. I've been looking for quite some time. I want to do something for our pets. renspets.com. Make sure you're checking them out. And listen, if you're not taking care of your pet, you just get this stuff. Supplement your pets. Keep them healthy. Right now, we've got these mRNA poisons that they're putting out in our pets, and we've even released the saRNA for our pets, which, by the way, is contagious. So if you let them give your pets an saRNA vaccine, you may catch it. Just saying, you might not want to do that. But all this stuff causes cancer. It does. So make sure that you're protecting your pets. Check out renspets.com. And speaking of our pets, let's bring on Kristen and Diana. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about our pets, about their health, about keeping them safe during Thanksgiving, and all the things that we can do. Ben, can you bring on Kristen and Diana? Here we go. Hey, ladies, how are we doing today?
Hey, we're good. We're good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just for everybody watching, so I met Kristen and her husband at a prayer business event out in Vegas. And yes, there is prayer in Vegas for anybody that doesn't know. There's actually a lot of wonderful people in the Vegas area. It's Sin City, but there's a lot of good, faithful, wonderful people there. So I met them out there, and they got a wonderful product and a wonderful supplement that I've known about for quite some time, and we just finally kind of connected and got them up for renspets.com, and they're just good people. So Kristen, Diana, whoever wants to start, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Tell us about the company. Tell us about what you're doing. Just tell everybody about what's going on.
Well, I'll start, and then I'll let Kristen take it to tell us a little bit more about the company. But I'm Diana, and this is Kristen over here. We are both certified in pet nutrition. I'm certified in holistic pet care and in CBD for animals and people. Kristen is certified in mycology. And our point here is that we're on a mission. We are on a mission to save our animals. Just a few facts, and I'm sure you know this, Tom. A golden retriever back in the 70s lived until they were 16, 17 years old. Now we're barely making 9. 6 million new cases of diabetes. When I was a kid, no dog had diabetes. 50% of our animals are dying from cancer. And what is it? Is it the Roundup in the ground? Is it the processed food we're feeding? Is it the vaccinations? Don't even get me started on that new vaccine. If we have a minute, we'll chat about that. Kidney and heart failure is up. We are on a mission, and Kristen's going to talk a little bit about how this company came about and why it came about, but we offer a very simple solution. We are not veterinarians. We're not here to give medical advice. We are not here to talk about anything that cures, treats, or heals. We're here to talk about something that God put on our planet that is so perfectly designed. It has a kingdom of its own, actually, and that is mushrooms. So I'm going to turn it over to Kristen. She's going to talk a little bit about the company. Maybe we'll have some time to talk about my personal story. But we're just here to educate and to help our fur babies live longer. We are doing free consultations. If anybody has anything going on with their animal, they can just email us at renspets247@gmail.com. And I personally will answer all of those, renspets247@gmail.com. So Kristen, take it away.
Thanks, Diana. Yeah, I think it's really important before we talk about what we're doing for you to know really how God has brought us here and what has happened. And like Diana said, God has given us everything we need, abundantly growing in nature, all the foods, everything we need He has provided for us in abundance. So we're just so grateful that we're rediscovering all of these gifts that God has provided for us. And it started, oh my goodness, almost 30 years ago with one of our partners, Simon. His mom had a stage 4 condition in her lungs, and she was being seen by Sloan Kettering, and they had exhausted all their options, done every surgery and treatment that they could, and pretty much told her there was nothing more that they could do, and she just needed to get her affairs in order. And so he started reaching out to family members all over the world and letting them know what was happening with her. And his cousin, who's a physician in Japan, actually said, "Hey, have you heard of this mushroom called the Coriolis versicolor mushroom?" And he had not. He said, "I'm going to send you over these mushroom capsules. It's a really pure and potent strain. We've perfected the extraction process. All this is going to do is it's going to feed her own immune system, and let's see what her own body is able to do." So he sends over these mushroom capsules, and she starts taking them. And after a month, she's noticing a real difference. And then after 2 months, she just felt completely normal. And over 4 months later, she went back to Sloan Kettering, who was surprised to see her because they didn't give her that much longer to live. And she told them what had happened. And they said, "Hey, let's run some tests." They ran some tests, couldn't find any more evidence of it.
That's wonderful.
Gone just from a whole food. And so they asked what she had done. She, of course, told them about her nephew. And that was actually where the first study on this extract started in the United States, was with Sloan Kettering. And since then, now there's been over 400 published studies by the top most reputable organizations in the world, like MD Anderson Cancer Center, Harvard University, the American Cancer Society, Loma Linda. Like, I could go on and on and on and on of all these published studies that have shown that this mushroom actually modulates the immune system. It's an immune balancer. And so when the immune system is functioning optimally, then it's able to be the body's first defense against everything, small things like colds and infections and viruses, all the way up to the most catastrophic things. So after this had happened, Simon, whenever he heard of anyone dealing with anything, would say, "Hey, you have to try these mushroom capsules." And he was getting back reports from any type of thing you can possibly imagine, so much so to the point where they actually brought this particular strain, because there are over 200 known strains of it, they brought it to the United States and started manufacturing and processing it here in the United States so that people could get it into their systems quicker. And it wasn't only people that were dealing with things, it was also people that just wanted to be proactive, knowing that if I can keep my immune system balanced, it's able to repair, rebuild, regulate, restore, renew anything that's happening inside of the body. So they had been doing that for several years. But in 2017, one of our partners, Steve, lost his dog to cancer. Our other partner, Gino, lost his dog to cancer. And 2 of Steve's daughters lost their dogs to cancer, all inside the same year. And they ranged anywhere from ages 4 up to 11. And so they started looking at things and thinking, this can't be a coincidence. There has to be something going on. And they started doing research and found that the majority of these cases are actually stemming from exposure to the foods and treats and toys and all of the things that our pets are exposed to. And so they thought, I wonder if this mushroom is safe for animals, because we know what it does for humans. And they found a study by the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Care that not only was it safe for animals, but it was actually beneficial for them, and that dogs were living 2 to 3 times longer that were on this mushroom than the dogs that weren't. So that's how this whole mission started, this whole movement started, was from that finding. They decided to add it into biscuits for dogs and horse cakes for horses and gravies for dogs and cats, and just all these fun ways to get into our pet system so that we could push back against everything that was happening with our pets. And I'll never forget, right when we got, we have these little biscuits called Mush Puppies. It's super cute. And we first got it, and our friends had actually posted on social media just a couple days later that they had to say goodbye to their dog Zenta. And they just weren't ready to do that, and they were super sad about it. So we reached out to them and said, what's going on? They said, well, she's almost 15 years old. She's had an autoimmune condition now for several years where her paw pads are peeling off when she touches tile or pavement. Her fur would come out in clumps. Her eyes were white and cloudy, and she was having trouble seeing. She was bumping into things. She couldn't walk. She was in so much pain. They had to lift her up, carry her outside to use the restroom, and then pick her up and bring her back inside and put her in her favorite corner. And of course, the vet said, well, she's almost 15. The average husky lives to be 12. So it might be time to say goodbye. But God just tugged on their hearts and was like, she's not ready. She's not ready. What can we do? So they took a couple $100 worth of narcotics and steroids, took her home, pretty much tried to keep her comfortable in the little bit of time that they had left with her, put her on home hospice. So we had asked them if they had heard about this mushroom, and of course they hadn't. And so we said, let's give it a try. And, it's just a whole food. It's no different from eating a mushroom on a salad. So it's not going to interact with any of her medications or treatments. You can't get addicted. You can't overdose. There aren't any side effects. At the very least, she'll be happy to get some variety, get some extra treats into her system. And so they started giving her about 3 to 4 of these biscuits every day. And within 4 days, they called us back and said, what did you give our dog? And we kind of looked at each other because we had seen all the research, but the tone of his voice was very stern. And so we were like, why? What happened? And he goes, she just jumped on the couch. She hasn't jumped on the couch in over a year. Do you think it's these mushrooms? And we asked, have you done anything else different? And of course they hadn't. So we said, it's got to be her own immune system. Let's just keep giving them to her and see what happens. And Tom, within a month, her paw pads were healing. Her fur was growing back in. The crystallization in her eyes was clearing up. She was walking on her own. She was playing. She was letting them pet her. And that's when we realized what God was doing. That's when we realized the importance of mushrooms and how we were a part of the restoration of creation, was that first moment. And I'll never forget, I thought, if we can just help one other animal have the same type of result, all of our efforts would be worth it. And then what we found over the next several years, dog after dog, cat after cat, horse after horse, Zenta was not a fluke. Over 90% of the time, people are calling us, letting us know of these differences, reporting all of these good things. And we knew that this was something that we needed to run with. And long term, Zenta ended up living another 4.5 years. She was almost 20 years old when she was finally ready to go. And we actually didn't lose her to an illness. We lost her to an accident. So she could have had another couple of years or so with us. And the best part is it's not enough to keep your pet with you longer if it's at the expense of their quality of life.
Right.
But her quality of life improved dramatically. Up until the very end, she was going on 5-mile hikes in the mountains. She was swimming in the lake. She was playing with the other dogs. She never would have had a chance to meet their grandkids, and they now have video footage and pictures of the grandkids hugging her, playing on her, kissing her, all of these. The same dog that just a few years earlier you couldn't even touch because she would just whimper in pain. So we're so confident, regardless of what people are experiencing with their pets, that this can be an answer for them, again, because it's something that God created in its purest form. And once we just get it into the body, our bodies were so intelligently designed, our pets' bodies were so intelligently designed to be able to handle everything that's happening on its own if it just has the proper foods and the allies that God has given us in nature. And so that's really our mission, is to help people rediscover this resource that's available for us that grows all over the world. So it's meant for all animals, all creation, and help them rediscover it and get the benefits of the natural support that their bodies deserve.
Well, I think that's a wonderful story. I mean, I love, I've had to put a couple dogs down over the years, and more than a couple, and it's always such a sad thing. It's like they just love you, and at some point you have to say goodbye to them, but it's an awful thing to do. So, yeah, if you can extend your dog's life, but people don't understand. We get these animals, and they tell us they need 57 different vaccines. They're no safer for dogs than they are for people, and this is a big thing. I mean, like I said, I'm a big animal lover. I want to protect them. And one of the things that's interesting about this is, I look at this And the Coriolis versicolor, right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, it's Coriolis versicolor.
Versicolor. Okay, so that mushroom, I mean, it's been studied, and you guys are selling a pet product. It's there. But it's just a whole food that you're selling for the pet. You're just selling the mushrooms, and in various forms. I mean, biscuits or however. But you're selling the whole food. But it's interesting because that product has been well, not your product. I'm sorry. That mushroom has been studied also for human cancer, and I believe it's fairly mainstream in Japan.
Yeah.
They use it as a mainstream treatment in Japan for cancer. Now, of course, in the United States, it's not mainstream because pharma doesn't approve it and doesn't make any money off of it. But it's interesting. I mean, it seems to really have an impact on cancer. And like I said, there's a number of studies out of Japan. It's a mainstream usage type thing. So, using this in our pets here, of course, with your products is a great idea. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. I know my friend Baby Trump, Chris Enix has talked about you guys' mushrooms a lot. I mean, he's a huge fan of it. And this is a wonderful thing. So I want people to know about this because you're told you got to vaccinate your dog or it's going to get rabies. Well, I don't know about most people. My dogs live in the house. They're not any more likely to get rabies than I am. My dogs aren't hunting in the bush. My dogs have it better than most people. So, I mean, there's a lot of days I say to myself, God, I wish I had my dog's life. So I don't, the idea that you need to jab your pets with 100 different things is absurd. And now we see these saRNA vaccines, which this is something I do have expertise in. These are contagious. They're dangerous. We get the mRNA is bad enough. The saRNA could potentially even spread to humans. It's horrifically dangerous. So, I mean, this is a really interesting thing. And I think, now, one of the things with this, you mentioned that this kind of rebalances the immune system. I can tell you guys, because I've done a lot of work on cancer, that, one of the most important aspects of treating cancer, of course, now don't ask your oncologist about this, but it's my opinion, having talked to naturopaths, oncologists, alternative treatment doctors, every kind of doctor you can imagine, and listening to everybody collectively, that one of the most important things you can do is keep your immune system strong when you're fighting cancer, because if your immune system is strong, your immune system will take care of a lot of the free-floating cancer cells. And it may not be enough to by itself break down a large tumor or a bunch of tumors. But if you're strong, it looks to me, based on the evidence that I've seen and the studies I've read, that it may well help prevent the spread, help prevent it from metastasizing and attaching elsewhere, may do a lot of different things. So, I mean, everything you're saying really checks out. And so you guys are you're hearing success stories everywhere, right?
Yeah. May I interject my quick story?
Please.
God called me to this for a reason, and I always laugh that, God has an interesting sense of humor.
He does.
I know. I was involved in this company for a couple years. I was seeing amazing things happen. Zenta's story, all of these things. And then, boom, February 2020, I get diagnosed with colon cancer, stage 3. And it was during the pandemic. I could not be operated on for 30 days until a board decided I was worthy to be operated on. I had a tumor in the colon.
That's because they were keeping you safe.
Let me tell you. Let me just tell you. If you someday I'll go into the whole story about the hazmat suits and everything that I went through. But literally, I had a tumor in my colon that could explode and kill me. So I went home. I sat down with, the co-founders of the company and said, okay, look, I'm either going to be the best story you have or not. What do we need to do? And their advice to me was a normal dose for the human mushroom is 1 capsule per 50 pounds of body weight. I weighed 150. And the suggestion was that I triple up and take 10 a day. So I started 10 a day. 30 days later, I got a call that I had been approved for surgery, went in for pre-op blood work, got a call 14 hours later that the oncology department wanted to do a video conference with me immediately. I get on the video call and there's my oncologist and he says, Diana, what are you doing? And I thought that was the most bizarre question I had ever been asked. I said, I'm hoping this tumor doesn't explode. I'm packing a suitcase for the hospital. I don't understand the question. He said, Diana, you're in remission. What are you doing? Well, I knew that those were good words, but I honestly didn't know what that meant. And he explained that every cancer has a marker. My markers, if I had not had cancer, would have been 2.5 for colon cancer. I was off the charts, but that day I was 0.05. Again, what are you doing? He said. And I said, I'm taking the Coriolis versicolor mushroom. And his next response was sad to me. He said, I know nothing about this.
Well, of
and that
course.
was sad. He's an oncologist, for God's sakes. He has since become a huge fan. We have had an incredible 5.5-year relationship. But he said, keep taking it. I appreciated that. Keep doing what you're doing is what he said, not keep taking it. Then we got to go in. We got to get this tumor out. I am going to recommend chemo because your type of cancer has a 40% chance of reoccurrence, 10% chance of reoccurrence if you do chemo. I did the research. I really didn't want to do chemo, but then I saw a study from Sloan Kettering that said this mushroom, the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, can complement chemotherapy. Bing, bang, I was in. I continued to take 10 a day through 6 months of hard chemo. Kristen saw me. Kristen was there. I didn't look like a cancer patient. I didn't feel like a cancer patient or a chemo patient. I never threw up. I didn't lose my hair. So what was happening was, as my body was being ravaged by chemotherapy and every single healthy cell being destroyed, the immune system was given the support to repair, rebuild, replenish, rejuvenate. Literally, it was keeping ahead of the destruction. At the end of chemotherapy, all of my blood work, all of my tests, I was actually healthier and better than when I started. And my bone density improved, which is unheard of during chemotherapy because that destroys your bone density. And what I realized was that God did cancer for me, not to me, so that I could get out here and share this with the world. I'm a perfect example. 5 years, 6 months, still my numbers are 0.05, healthier than ever. And the only thing I wish I had was hindsight, and maybe had I started taking this sooner, maybe I wouldn't have this story. Maybe I wouldn't be able to help so many. But anybody who is going through this catastrophic condition, please reach out to me, renspets247@gmail.com, and let's chat a little bit. Let me maybe help you through this whole thing. I've been there. I know what it likes when somebody says to you, you have cancer. I know what you're feeling. I've been there. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm living proof. And we don't want to give Big Pharma in any way the excuse to keep doing what they're doing. And they've been doing it in the animal world. It's the veterinarians make 34% of their money off of pharmaceuticals, $35 billion in vet bills last year. People are being coerced into giving their animals all of these big pharma medications. We had a dog the other day on 10 medications, including Prozac. 10 medications, including Prozac. We, by the way, got the dog off everything except 2.
They put the dog on Prozac, huh?
Yeah, they had the dog on Prozac. And this is the sad part. This poor woman was spending $450 a month. She was living on $650 Social Security.
Well, you do what you got to do for your pets.
And we got the dog off everything except 2 meds, and he's doing fantastic. And we consulted a holistic veterinarian. We like I said, we're not veterinarians, we're not medical professionals, but my story is not unique. We see this every single day. And the thing that we love about what we're doing, Tom, is that we have irrefutable numbers. We have numbers to back up what we're doing. And you've got dogs. You can't fool a dog. It's either going to work or it isn't, right?
No, they don't fake.
For humans, we can say, oh yeah, I think I feel better. But for dogs, no.
There's no placebo effect for dogs.
Yeah.
There's no placebo.
Thank you for letting me share that story. I appreciate that.
Well, I'm grateful that you did. It's an interesting thing. I talked to John Richardson the other day from RNC Store. And one of the things that I can tell you is, I've spent a lot of time looking at alternative interventions for cancer, supplements that people take with their treatment or separately, or, some people just take treatments outside of it. Yeah. And, it's a controversial topic, but it shouldn't be. The reality is this. there are a number of underlying causes of cancer. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's funny because I talked to an oncologist, and he was telling me about his treatment for a patient. I said, "Well, what caused this patient's cancer?" He says, "What do you mean?" Well, how are you going to stop the cancer if you haven't thought about what's causing the cancer, right? You can cut out a tumor, but it'll just come back if the cause is still there, right? Well, this guy, he didn't even think about it. Well, here's the thing. We know, and this is well studied, well established, there are a lot of different causes of cancer. There are viruses, there is bacteria, there are environmental toxins, there's radiation, there's parasites. There's a lot of different things that cause cancer. The key seems to be, and this is not established in science, but it's what it looks like anecdotally. And if you look at this, so you'll see people, hey, I took CBD and I got better. Hey, I took ivermectin, I got better. I took B17, I got better. And they're not lying, they did. The key is figuring out which of these alternative interventions or which of the mainstream interventions aligns with the underlying cause and the cancer itself, and then getting that. And honestly, because they refuse to properly test and diagnose this, there is no way to really know this. I mean, you just have to guess a little bit and try different interventions until you find some, which is terrifying for the people who are dealing with this. Sometimes you don't have time to guess. Sometimes guessing leads to death, and so it's hard, especially if you don't have a good doctor that's willing to actually think outside of the pharma box, which oncologists are told never ever think outside of the pharma box. Right. But it's crazy. And there's no question in my mind that the mushrooms you guys are talking about can have a tremendous impact for a lot of people because it's been proven. Like I said, it's mainstream in Japan. It's something to me that is very, very clear. And, it's, our dogs, our cats, our animals are exposed to a lot of toxins, a lot of, vaccines that are even less safe than human vaccines. And, this is a great, great thing. So I encourage everybody, make sure you're checking out remspets.com, and support these guys. It is a wonderful, wonderful company, wonderful people. And there's a lot of stuff on there. If you look at the website, if you go to their shop, they got a whole bunch of stuff there. It's not just like one mushroom product. There is a ton of stuff there. There are a lot of different options, and I'm excited to finally have a partner that is interested in taking care of our animals because, well, someone needs to. If alternative works for people, why wouldn't it work for animals? I mean, you just have to dig into it and see what works. So, ladies, any final words? I appreciate you being on. We'll have you back for sure. Anything else you want to say before we jump?
Thanksgiving, really important. We all love our animals, but Thanksgiving is the number one day that our veterinarian offices get completely bombarded. And I did see that they put that little chart up about what not to feed your pets on Thanksgiving. Think about being a dog or a cat in the home on Thanksgiving Day. There's all kinds of amazing smells. There's all kinds of hustle and bustle. There's all kinds of tension. So that the dogs are just like a little bit like overwhelmed, right? And the kitty cats. And then everybody sits down at the table. The dogs are hyper. We have an incredible product using the lion's mane mushroom that will help chill the doggy. Probably a little too late to get it now, but for the next holiday you can. But one of the things we want you to do is look at what we're posting up here, and if you can copy it out, screenshot it, hand it out, give it to people, put it on social media. If we can just help one dog not die on Thanksgiving Day because he swallowed a corn cob that he got out of the trash can. Seriously, it happens all the time. Dogs swallow a corn cob, it gets stuck in their esophagus or their intestines, and they die. Turkey skin, gravy, drippings, turkey twine, turkey bones, stuffing, ham, onions, garlic, sage, nutmeg, raisins, grapes, all of this, bread, candied yams, dough, alcohol, it's all
making me hungry.
To dogs. I know. It's everything that's on our table, right? And Uncle Ed wants to give the dog a little piece of turkey, and Aunt Irma wants to give him a little turkey skin. And the next thing you know, you got a sick dog or a dying dog, as well as The trash. The number one reason that a dog ends up in the ER on Thanksgiving is because they got into the trash. So all we're asking is be good stewards. These animals are in our home. They are loving on us unconditionally, but we owe it to them to make sure that we're doing the right thing by them during this holiday. And, moving forward, we're excited about our collaboration. We want to do whatever we can do to help your community with their animal needs and what we can do to help them stick around longer and healthier. And we're just excited about this, aren't we, Kristen?
Yeah, very. And thank you, Tom, for who you are and all you do, and just for constantly fighting for people, loving them, caring about them, doing everything that you can to help. We just appreciate you so much. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. It's an honor and a privilege that God lets me do what I do. And you get to fight for people and help people. And it's a little rough some days, just like, when you're just like you guys, you give people, you try and help people, you try and help their pets. Sometimes you don't succeed, but it's a great thing to try. And I love your enthusiasm. I love how much you guys love what you're doing. I love your dedication to the mission. It shows through. And I hope people will support you. RemsPets.com. Check it out. Great stuff. Take care of your pets this season, because they're family, right? They're family too. So, ladies, thank you so much. I got to have you back soon. I loved your excitement. You guys are great guests. So we'll definitely have you guys back soon.
Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Take care of those fur babies.
And hey, by the way, I don't mind saying this here because we're coming up on it. Merry Christmas early.
Merry Christmas early.
All right. Thanks, guys. All right. We gotta move into some other stuff. Chris and Diana, what wonderful people. What a wonderful product line. It's just good. Just good. So, all right. I want to head into some things that are a little less good. And speaking of things that make you healthy, let me share with you one of the things that makes you unhealthy. Take a look. Ben, can we put this up on the screen? I want to share this tweeter. So Tim Pool, and I got to go on with Tim a while back on Timcast, and he's a good dude. It's really a fun show. But Tim posted up there, this is a sad state of the affairs in this country. We're not getting real food to poor people. SNAP is not helping anybody. Campbell Soup executive leaked audio slams products as SHIT for poor people with bioengineered meat. And that is the absolute truth. It is the absolute truth. So I had posted earlier today, and I want to share this as well, this one. So yesterday we talked about Campbell's and their this report and this leaked audio. So I went and looked. Got a couple cans of Campbell's. Got them right here. There you go. This is tomato soup, and here's chicken noodle. And you can see I got the noodle right there, and I've got the tomato here. And by the way, it says it here on the tomato too. I know you guys can't see this, but it says contains bioengineered food and genetically modified crops. So Campbell Soup is now, it's bioengineered food and genetically modified crops. According to the executive, the meat isn't meat, it's cancer meat. It's Bill Gates' factory manufactured meat, which is not meat, it's cancer. And you're eating tumors if you're eating their garbage. So if you want to have some GMO Frankenstein food flavored with some tumors, get some Campbell Soup, because that's what you're going to get. Now, here's the thing. I posted, and I said this right here. I said Campbell Soup ingredient list includes bioengineered food ingredient, an ingredient from corn that comes from genetically modified crops, and they sell this to schools to feed our kids, which they do, and it's available on SNAP. I said, Secretary Kennedy needs to put a stop to this. Whistleblower audio shows that Campbell's is knowingly selling unhealthy garbage that their executives admit they wouldn't eat to, quote, poor people. Is that okay? Should executives be able to make products that they themselves wouldn't eat and push it in our kids? As I stated below in the post, bioengineered food has a lot in common with cancer meat. If the executives at Campbell's won't eat their own food, why are they allowed to feed it to our kids? And I think that's a fair question to ask. Why is this going out to our children, but they're not allowed to, they won't feed it to our kids or themselves. They won't eat it to ourselves. These guys, this guy openly said, I won't eat that crap. Well, but you're going to sell it to school kids? You're going to put it in the school lunch program? It's okay for SNAP? This is more elitist thinking, right? They don't care what you eat. They don't care what it does to you. In fact, if it makes you sick, that's great, because then you can buy some pharma. And hey, P.S., the guys that own Big Pharma also own Big Ag and Big Food. They're all tied together. So it's a win-win for them. But it's a dangerous thing for we the people. It's a very dangerous thing. And it's not a healthy thing. And it's an appalling thing, in my opinion. And it's something that we really need to address. So I thought that was sad, sick, awful. I don't know. Just awful. All right, let's move into some other stuff. So I mentioned at the beginning of the show, the internet's kind of on fire. The Twitterverse is on fire because of the nonsense that's occurring in the White House. Now, President Trump is doing a great job, as always, but his people suck, particularly his deep staters and his DOJ. Now, I don't know how else to describe this, right? You got Pam Bondi here, right? And I pulled up and I did she was trending, so I pulled up Pam Bondi. Did a Twitter search. And here's what I saw. Let me show you guys if we can put this one up, Ben. This is what I saw, right? So they start out and, she found 121 missing kids. That's good. There's only 400,000 left. 3,100 arrests and 500 illegal weapons. That's great. Well, if we get rid of the other several million illegals, that'll be nice. But scroll down. General Mike Flynn calling on President Trump to appoint Sidney Powell as Attorney General immediately, taking the place of Pam Bondi. Now, General Flynn is a good friend of mine and also a very, very loyal supporter of Donald Trump. He is a diehard supporter. And, I don't know what else to say about that. He's had the president's back. For him to say this is a big deal. In my mind, this is a big deal. And I haven't talked to him about this, so I guess I don't want to speak for him or anything, but this is just knowing the guy, this is a very big deal. It has to be bad for the general to speak out like this. But Bondi is an absolute disaster. There's been no arrests. Every case she's filed, she's blown. And if you scroll down, she's appealing this case that was dismissed on Comey and James. It won't work. The case was designed and filed in a way that it was guaranteed to fail. It will never work. That case was a garbage case that was, I believe, filed with intention of failing. It was awful. It was a terrible case. We've got this. Thousands of children were raped. Where are the rapists? Why aren't they in jail? Tucker goes off on Pam Bondi's handling of the Epstein files, right? And why wouldn't he? This is appalling. Yet they lie about it. They lie, and they lie some more. I don't trust a liar. Remember Anthony Fauci? You need a mask. You don't need a mask. You need 2 masks. You need no masks. Save masks. Get masks. Wear masks. What's the difference between that and what we've seen from the DOJ on the Epstein files? What's the difference? I don't see anything. I don't see any difference, right? I don't see any difference at all. What I see is a lot of lies and a lot of obfuscation and a lot of bullcrap. But at the end of the day, what I don't see is any difference between the lies from Fauci on COVID and the lies about Epstein from the DOJ. Oh, there was no ring. It was a hoax, except for you've got all this evidence that you now have to release under the law. And you're working with Pam to see what you can release. Everywhere I look, it's insane. And you scroll down and it's over and over. There's a ton of stuff on this. Here's a rumor, Andrew Bailey rumored to be replacing Pam Bondi. I don't know. Trump suggests, Trump keeps defending him. Comey, then you got Sidney Powell. I mean, my friend Ann Vandersteel, I love Ann. She's a firecracker. She's pretty fussy about all this. But you just scroll down, and no matter where you look, Hodge twins are really on fire about it. They've been just Pam Bondi is a neocon deep state fraud because she's been doing a bunch of anti-Second Amendment cases, and you can see right here. I mean, Hodge twins, they like the idea of getting her replaced. Hodge twins are huge. I mean, this is going mainstream. Nobody's happy about this, right? Nobody's happy about what's going on here. So, I mean, and I said this, I said, listen, because it turns out that Bondi is going to be, they're working, Mario Nofal. Let's look at what Mario said. Mario says, FBI Director Kash Patel, we're working with DOJ on which Epstein files we can legally release. Well, you are? I thought you didn't have anything. I thought it was a hoax, Kash. You literally told Congress it's a hoax. Kash told us it's a hoax. He lied. I'm sorry. I've always liked Kash. I want to support Kash, but he's a liar on the Epstein stuff. He sold out on it. I don't know why. I've always wanted to support Kash, but this is ridiculous. He literally said, what are you working with him on, Kash? P.S. Well, first of all, you can legally produce anything. What they're actually doing is looking for excuses because Pam Bondi, who was AG in Florida while Epstein ran his child rape ring out of the Palm Beach, is deciding what should be released from the Epstein files. I don't know. Maybe you should just release all of them like the law says, because that is what the law says. Law says release them. Maybe just redact the victims' names and release everything possible in accordance with the law. And so this crook needs to be fired, and Kash and Bongino need to recognize that the Bill Barr 2.0 DOJ isn't going to last as it is. We, the people, are sick of the games, and if they screw up this release, it will cost the midterms and their jobs. Bongino and Kash are going to get fired if they don't get their crap together, because the people are going to go nuts. If they blow this again, if they do more cover-up, I think that we, the people, are about done. We're done with Pam Bondi and her Justice Department. We're done with Kash Patel and Bongino trying to cover for her and changing the subject. Oh, look at our arrest today. We got 1,000 arrests. So what? I expect you to get 1,000 arrests. You're the DOJ and the FBI. You ought to. I want to know what you're going to do about these child rape rings. We hired Donald Trump to clean the swamp, to drain the swamp. Well, let me tell you what. Start with the billionaire globalist elitists who are pedophiles. Let's put them in jail first. We, the people, care about pedophilia. We care about the Epstein child rape ring. We care about the unequal provision of justice, which is what you're doing. We care about seeing that these elitists that participate in these child rape rings are brought to justice. We're tired of seeing people like Bill Gates and Anthony Bourla, who may or may not have had contacts with Epstein, get away with whatever they want to get away with and never go to jail. Meanwhile, regular people are in jail all the time. This is like the Campbell Soup thing. Nobody likes the idea that rich executive jerk from Campbell Soup is okay with people dying and eating unhealthy food if they're poor people, while he eats whatever he wants from probably his executive chef. Nobody likes the unequal application of justice. Nobody likes the corruption out of Washington. But that's what's happening. And Bondi is 100% facilitating it. Now, here is what a leftist says. So this Gene Trevino, who is a leftist, he says, let's effing go, courtesy of Occupy Democrats, right? So this is a leftist post. But it's important because if you don't think this is going to be a part of the midterm issue, you're nuts. You're nuts. The MAGA base is not going to ever be okay with what's going on with the Epstein list, unequal application of justice. So, guys, don't tell me, well, we should just fall in line. No, we're not Democrats. We're not okay with rapists and pedophiles. MAGA is not. We're never going to fall in line. I don't care if it's the Trump administration or who. If you're okay with rapists and pedophiles, we're going to fight. That's not going to sell to MAGA. So don't tell us just shut up and take a seat. You're going to ruin the midterms. You're right. We're going to ruin the midterms because I won't vote for people who won't hold pedophiles accountable. Breaking. Trump gets Nightmare Monday news as it's revealed that explosive wave of House Republicans will soon resign like Marjorie Taylor Greene did, destroying Mike Johnson's speakership. This has MAGA world in an absolute panic. It should. It should. We're going to see impeachment. Trump is going to get impeached. A few other GOP members messaged us over the weekend saying they too are considering retiring in the middle of the term. Jake Sherman of Punchbowl News wrote on X. Here's one particularly exercised senior House Republican. This entire White House team has treated all members like garbage. I wonder who does that, Susie Wiles. All. And Mike Johnson has let it happen because he wanted it to happen. That is the sentiment of nearly all appropriators, authorizers, hawks, doves, rank and file. The arrogance of this White House team is off-putting to members who are run roughshod and threatened. They don't even allow little wins like announcing small grants or even responding from agencies. Not even the high profile. The regular rank and file, random members are more upset than ever. Members know they are going to get into the minority after midterms. Think about that, folks. More explosive early resignations are coming. It's a tinderbox. Morale has never been lower. Mike Johnson will be stripped of his gavel and they will lose the majority before this term is out. Sherman wrote in a follow-up shortly after. Since this ran this morning, 4 hours ago, I've gotten countless text messages from House Republicans agreeing with this sentiment. And saying, why the hell should we stay in Congress if all we're going to do is vote on censures and be a potted plant? I agree. MTG quit. Listen. The Trump administration is being undermined by Susie Wiles and her group of crooks, her group of thugs. The Congress is done with it. We're sick of it. The American people are sick of it. Now, we've got this. I asked Grok for a summary. I asked for a summary of pushback against Susie Wiles because she's involved with this. So here's what Grok gave me. Gatekeeping and agenda sabotage. She's accused of deep state gatekeeper who controls it. This is well known. You don't get access to Trump unless you go through Susie Wiles, unless you kiss her ass or buy her off. That's what's known. It's pretty well known in political circles. It's known around there. It's pay to play. You want a Trump endorsement? You buy off Susie Wiles and her team in one way or another. I'm not saying that there's anything illegal. Not suggesting there's anything illegal. But that's pretty much what's accepted. You buy your way in, and then if you're lucky and you kiss her butt enough, you can talk to the president. That's what happens. Big Pharma and Maha betrayal. Mercury LLC. It's funny that Grok forgot to note that I was the one that brought all that out. But Mercury LLC, Pfizer, pharmaceutical giants. I mean, she's smashing Maha. I mean, she's destroying it. There's no question about that. And why? Because she doesn't like it. She's not Maha. Scrolling down, neocon, foreign influence. She worked with Netanyahu's campaign, which I'm pro-Israel, but I think Netanyahu's a crook. I'm pro-Jewish, but I think Netanyahu's a crook. I can support Israel and I can support the Jewish people and not support Netanyahu. That's where I stand on it. Purging loyalists, and I mean, she does. She sidelines all the good guys who have been fighting for Trump and brings in these losers. People want her gone. We're done with her. But nobody's looking at this, right? Nobody's talking about this. In the administration or in Congress. The thing is, though, I think that the deep state wall around Trump is starting to collapse. We're seeing bigger names and more people start to talk about this administration and their epic failure. Their failure to live up to MAGA. Donald Trump is doing everything he can. His deals are great. He's negotiating peace. He's doing incredible work. Meanwhile, Susie Wiles and the congressional leadership are working very hard to ensure that nothing will stick. They are doing exactly what people are saying. Bondi isn't prosecuting anybody. They're dragging their feet, filing bad cases, doing just enough to tell Trump that they're doing everything they can, but they're lying to him. They're lying to Donald Trump. They're telling him they're doing everything they can. They can't do any more. Oh, it's rogue judges. It's this, it's that, the other. Listen, the Comey and James indictment wasn't a rogue judge. It was a fair ruling because the law wasn't followed. It was expected. It's the kind of thing that happens when you file a crappy case that you intend to have thrown out, which is what I think happened there. At the end of the day, this DOJ is dragging its feet. Susie Wiles and the team are undermining Donald Trump. And until he wakes up and figures it out, until MAGA and we the people speak out enough to help him see it, we're going to continue down this path of destruction. I hope everybody on MAGA shares. Well, the only way to get this to Trump is to share on social media. We can't do it otherwise because you can't get access to him. Wiles is a gatekeeper. She controls access to Trump with an iron fist. You cannot talk to President Trump unless you get through Wiles. So she keeps everybody away. Meanwhile, she keeps lying to him about what's going on. You want to know why Trump isn't doing MAGA? Because he's being lied to about what's happening. It's not that Trump isn't doing a good job. He's doing great. He's just being lied to and manipulated. He's not good at picking people. Mike Pence, Bill Barr, he's picked a lot of crooks. The worst thing he did this administration was failing to beg General Flynn to come in and watch his back. He should have had people like Flynn, like Sidney Powell, like Matt Gaetz. He didn't fight for Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz stepped out because they just walked all over. Listen, you had a Matt Gaetz AG, you got a totally different story. You got Mike Flynn in there helping watch his back, you got a different story. You put in Susie Wiles, the big pharma lobbyist, you put in these crooks, this is what you get. All right, folks, lots more. RensPets.com, TomRens.com. Check out Block Trust. Check out our men's hormone support. Avoid Campbell's. GiveSendGo.com/RensLaw. Please support us. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow.
Thank you for watching the Tom Renz Show. Join us live Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, putting an axe in the skull of tyranny.
The MAGA revolution in cryptocurrency is here, reclaiming financial freedom for every American. Tired of globalist banks and deep state control? Blockchain is our weapon for sovereignty. Be a step ahead with Animus AI technology. Ranked #1 worldwide, exclusively available through Block Trust IRA. But beware, the wild ride volatility and scams lurk. Yet, with Trump-era policies like the Genius Act, we're tokenizing prosperity for veterans and the heartland. Globalist elites are panicking as leftist-controlled banks scrabble in the dust as MAGA investors access revolutionary technology. Reclaim your freedom with Block Trust IRA.
Join the fight to protect your wealth. Go to TomRensCrypto.com and talk to Block Trust IRA now.
Listen live to the Tom Renz Show Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern.